Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. This evening we're going to do the Get Down, Part 2. What's their motives? The producers of this series on Netflix, what was their motive on the movie The Get Down? What narrative was they supporting, was trying to push with reversing the roles of Grandmaster Caz and DJ Charlie Chase, calling themselves the Get Down Brothers instead of the Cold Crush Brothers, and turning the Queen of Disco into a Latino also. I'm going to get into that after I play a little bit of music, partial songs that brings back good memories. It's not the oldest of old school hip hop, but it's old school hip hop.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got MC Shan and Molly Merle in the house tonight. They just came from off tour. They want to tell you a little story about where they come from.
You love to hear the story again and again of how it all got started way back when. The monument is right in your face. Sit and listen for a while to the name of the place. Hip hop was set out in the dark. They used to do it out in the park. Every place they said his name, it rang an alarm. Otherwise known as me, T-Tom. A brother who's known for his rap, Jappy Jack, Larry Ladd, third least not last. A cool brother by the name of Gas. Face brothers made you get loose. They was down with the brother called Cousin Bruce. They used to jam in the center. You had to pay so you could enter. Go to the door, get frisked, just in order to get in. And if you wasn't from this town, then you couldn't fight and win. But every time they had a jam, they couldn't get no peace. So that's why the jams out there in the parks they had to cease, cause you was in the break.
Yo, what's up, Blast Master KRS-One? The jam is kicking. Word. Yo, what up, D Nice?
Yo, what's up, Scott LaRock?
Yo, man, we chilling this funky fresh jam. I want to tell you a little something about us. We're the Boogie Down Production Crew. And due to the fact that no one outside there knew what time it was, we have to tell you a little story about where we come from. South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx.
Many people tell me this style is terrific. It is kind of different, but let's get specific. KRS-One specialized in music. I'll only use this type of style when I choose it. Party people in the place to be. KRS-One attack. You got dropped off MCA cause the rhymes you wrote was whack. So you think that hip-hop had its start out in Queensbridge? If you pop that junk up in the Bronx, you might not live, cause you're in
South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx.
Yeah, they went back and forth for a minute. Boogie Down Productions and MC Shan.
Warning.
Want it, want it, want it. Devastating to your ear.
Rhyming is a thing that I do at will. Be glad to rock a party just to prove my skill. J.U. Ice is what I'm dealing with, the style so fresh that it's self-explaining. Everybody around, I don't live that way, but when I get dipped, violators pay. I'm a crowd motivator, MC annihilator. Never front the moon cause I'm not a perpetrator. I don't really mind being criticized for those who try to make fame on my name. Guys, times of all styles, all categories. From fresh freestyles to real pop stories. The jam is dedicated to you and your boys. And if you knew what I knew, then you kill that, kill that, kill that, kill that.
Devastating to your ear. The bridge is over, the bridge is over. The bridge is over, the bridge is over. Hey, hey, hey. The bridge is over, the bridge is over. The bridge is over, the bridge is over. You see me coming in the dance with the flipper sensei. Down with the sound called BDP. If you want to join the crew, well, you must see me. You can't sound like Shane or the one Marley. Cause Shane and Marley, I'm rhyming like the gay. Picking up the mic, man, they don't know what to say. Saying hip hop started out in Queensbridge. Saying lots like that, man, you know them countless. So tell them again, me come to tell them again. What?
You ever hear about the rising phoenix? Us living as we do, upside down. The pale-faced media tells us we all going to hell, but maybe we just the first ones to light the fire. Some try to snuff it out, but that's like oxygen to a flame. What's the get down? You don't know what the fucking get down is?
Universal DJ Rule 17, Grasshopper.
In order to fly, a DJ must trust his wing.
And are these your wings?
Yes, Grandmaster.
Thy voice shall only be lifted to the glory of God.
Looking down the barrel of the devil's gun.
Yeah, he's nice. Real nice.
She wants to sing, and you're suffocating her.
I want to get out of the Bronx.
We'll laugh and I'll tell you the story of love and how it is and the happiness in it, baby.
Clear as day,
Welcome
dark as
back,
night,
our thoughts
darker light,
and
bereft contrite, but it's got scream broke hearts to life, so far away, lost my sight, a candle flickers like this river flow. I'll miss it, I can never hope to hide it. I ain't Sir Lancelot, I can never be knighted. I'm straight blinded, bronze born blighted, switchblade fighted, double-sided, heart divided, grinded, cursed, forever misguided. This wrong cannot be righted. Something bad happened tonight.
Don't you?
But you okay?
Yeah. No.
To the roof where we can be closer to heaven.
Peace. This movie, The Get Down, the trailer doesn't do the movie any justice. It's a far better movie, well, series rather, than the trailer. If you get the chance, go on Netflix and watch the series, The Get Down, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about on how they switched the roles of Grandmaster Caz and DJ Charlie Chase. DJ Charlie Chase was a Hispanic DJ who was Grandmaster Caz's DJ. And they switched the roles up. They made on the Get Down, the Hispanic brother, the one who was writing all the rhymes for everybody, and the MC. And they make the brother on the Get Down, the DJ. And they called themselves the Cold Crush Brothers in real life, but on the Get Down, they were the Get Down Brothers. I saw that subliminal. And also Ezekiel's love interest. Ezekiel was really Grandmaster Caz, but they made him a Latino. Ezekiel's love interest became the queen of disco. Anyone who is old enough to know who was around in the 70s and 80s, you would know that the queen of disco was Donna Summer. Everyone knows that. And they actually made her a Latino. See, the battery that was put in Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe's back was allowing them to participate in a series on BET called The Origins of Hip Hop. The only two people I can see that was on that series was Grandmaster Flash and Ice-T. Everybody else, I don't understand why they was on that series. Fat Joe came in the 90s. Busta Rhymes came in the 90s. I don't understand how, and Little John was in it. Little John came way after them. I don't understand why they will participate in anything that deals with the origin of hip hop. BET couldn't find Grandmaster Melly Mel. He couldn't find anybody from the Treacherous Three, the Fearless Four, or any other old school hip hop artists that could go and give them information about the origins of hip hop. See, the problem I have with Fat Joe, he think that being from South Bronx qualifies him. No, it doesn't. It's a million other people, a million plus, probably 2 or 3 million people in the Bronx itself that doesn't qualify to speak about hip hop. That is a few people from the Bronx. The whole entire Bronx, the whole entire South Bronx did not create hip hop. See, that doesn't qualify you because you can say South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx, riding KRS-One's coattail. Those days are over. He said that we don't know our facts about our culture. That's the problem I have. We don't know our facts. I'm a good 6-7 years older than Fat Joe. Latinos, Caribbeans, Jamaicans didn't fuck with hip hop until they started doing hip hop. They thought it was noise. They thought it was nursery rhymes over beats. Now I'm going to play what these boneheads said about our culture, and they think they can just spew this nonsense without being challenged.
You know, I tell you, I never really fuck with Twitter, but I go on there to see. They always hating on me and shit. And they said they've been like lately talking about Latinos wasn't in rap and this and this. These guys are fucking delusional. We're from the Bronx, New York. Shit happens. And so when hip hop started, it's Latino and black, half and half.
Now, he said half and half. Fat Joe would be fronting if he said 90-10 in our favor. He'll still be fronting.
But they going at me because I'm like the only Spanish dude, like really with a big voice. Fuck that. And Latinos wasn't there. You was invited. You are a specimen. I don't know what the fuck is up with these people that don't know their facts.
What are the facts, Fat Joe? You keep yelling facts, but not presenting one fact.
And so out of nowhere this morning, somebody sent it to Tony Sunshine. He sent it to me. I got a little video I posted. And it's only a few Latinos in hip hop. And we got the drum beat going, and this talks about Charlie Chase and Ruby D and Whitney Witt and this. These are all.
Now, that's about all he can name. That's about all he can name. Prince Whippoorwhip, DJ Charlie Chase, Tito from the Fearless Four, himself, and Big Pun. All those guys came later. They came later, way later. In fact, Joe is not qualified because he came in the 90s. He's not qualified to even speak about the origins of hip hop. He should just be quiet. Busta Rhymes either. I'm going to play what Busta Rhymes had to say, his nonsense, talking about Caribbeans influencing hip hop.
How do you think your music has influenced the Latin music and its culture?
I think that, my family is Jamaican, and Latino and Jamaican and Caribbean people, with tropical people, with people that understand what that timing and that rhythm and that pocket feels like in a way unlike any other culture of people,
Before Busta Rhymes was in this world, hip hop was in this world. Before Fat Joe was in this world, hip hop was in this world.
From the bass lines to the way we choose to place our.
But what bass line is Busta Rhymes talking about? James Brown, Funkadelic, Parliament, all these funk bass lines, Rick James, all FBA, all Black Americans. There's absolutely no Caribbean influences in James Brown and Parliament Funkadelic. Rick James, I don't hear any Caribbean influences in that. And so many, Isaac Hayes, one of the most sampled artists in hip hop between him and James Brown. What bass line is he talking about?
Words as people of the Caribbean and of the tropics, I think that it's just it's something you can't really define in words. It's a feeling thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you watch Latinos do the South Side of merengue and you see Jamaican people.
Which is exactly what they were doing and continuous today. The salsa and merengue. That's not hip hop, not even synonymous to hip hop remotely.
Do they shit. It's kind of like something that goes hand in hand. And, it ain't a coincidence that in every urban community, Latino and Blacks is there together. That ain't no accident. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you find in every urban community, Middle Eastern and Black or Asian and Black. You always see Latino and Black. And I think we just so a part of each other's cultural significance, not only as tropical people, but even here in the United States, where the multicultural, because the U.S. ain't got no culture. They shit is all our shit. A bunch of our shit is what makes the U.S. whatever you want to call it. We still don't know what that culture is for the U.S.
Now, that's a bunch of nonsense. That is nonsense. That's foolishness. Because why couldn't they make their culture pop in their land? Why couldn't they? Hip hop came from here and it spread it out throughout the world. They didn't bring anything to hip hop. Hip hop was established when Busta Rhymes started rhyming, when Fat Joe started rhyming, and any of these other cats that rhyme today that's not from here. Hip hop was well established when they arrived here, and they brought nothing but their music and their talent to a genre of music that was already here.
But it's a mix-up of all of our cultures in the urban community. You know, the Latino and the West Indian has the greatest influence, and we've always had, and we'll always will, and it's just been that way. So I've actually been influenced.
I've been here 56 years. Latinos and Caribbeans didn't influence me one iota, not one iota. As a matter of fact, Busta Rhymes, Americans' culture influenced you. You were in the nations of gods and earth. That's American. That's not Caribbean. You made a song on your last album called Master Farad Muhammad. That's American. And also, an American gave you your name. You had a name. Your name was Taheem. See, the Negro forget what he said. Chuck D named him. He forget what he told us. Caribbeans, the West Indians, in the West Indies influence in hip hop, that is an absolute joke.
By the Latino community, which allows me to feel that much more comfortable putting my West Indian influence in my music, because they made me feel that much more proud to be like, yeah, my Lisa Jamaica.
So using Belle Biv DeVoe, Poison, using Alicia Myers, I Want to Thank You. That's West Indies and Caribbean influences. Most of your music is regurgitated, recycled music from us. You actually took a hook from the Sugar Hill Gang and revamped it. Woo-ha, your breakout to your solo career came from the Sugar Hill Gang. And you're going to talk about influences? Please, Negro.
I mean, I say it, but I'm just saying, a lot of the times, it ain't until you're made to feel comfortable giving it to the people who know what you really are, what your influences are, your upbringing in the house, that you do it. So, you know, being that I've been made to feel comfortable doing it, I think I also got to acknowledge and credit the Latinos for their influence on me, just the same way that I've been able to take that influence and give it back to the music. But a lot of that just has to do with.
So what he's saying is, what Busta Rhymes is saying is that after receiving a name from Chuck D of Public Enemy, out of all the MCs in hip hop, all the music that he used to make his music, that's our music. He owed all of that to Latinos. That's his biggest influence. That's a slap in our face.
Just being around it, growing up a part of it, And, you know, just seeing that it worked. When I was able to do the shit and incorporated it little by little and seeing the shit work, I'm like, man, this shit is not gonna ever stop happening with me because it's an advantage that I have being of the Caribbean descent, being of the tropical upbringing, being from that environment. I can use that to my advantage. A lot of rap motherfuckers and American artists, they can't use that. And I can do what they doing as an American, but also have this little secret weapon that I'm gonna pull out the stash every now and then, and I'm gonna use it to my advantage. So, you know, I think that's really what it is. And so far, it's been magical results for me.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, if I haven't heard foolishness in my life, that's foolishness.
Sincoro Tequila.
They took, first I want to say peace to Prophet Levi, peace to my brother Chris Cyphers, peace to the brother, the God, Browns Flat Power God. Thank you for joining me, brothers. The links in the chat. If you want to come up, have a discussion with the brother, everybody is welcome. Just hit the link. Now, we had a few people in hip hop of Latino descent in the early 80s. Like I said, we had Tito from the Fearless Four. You know, he did the song. They did the song "Rockin' It," "Problems of the World Today," a few songs that was real dope. And Tito was no slouch, but again, he contributed to hip hop, contributing to something that's not creating it. Eminem created some good music, and he contributed to hip hop. He didn't create hip hop as a genre. He didn't put anything into creating hip hop as a genre, but he contributed to the art form. So did Vanilla Ice. So did Snow. So did a few other white people contributed to the genre of hip hop, but they did not create anything. Again, Fat Joe said half and half. See, that's definitely not the type of businessman that I would want to deal with. If he can say half and half, if he could do the work that he did and say that he contributed half to something when he know he didn't, that means he do dirty ass business. You got to think of his mindset. If he could say half and half, you know how much we sacrificed to get this music up and off the ground? What people had to sacrifice and what we had to go through, being ridiculed and our music being mocked, saying it wasn't going to be around. But now today, you can barely find a record of any genre without some type of hip hop influences. As a matter of fact, even gospel music is doing, they really want to do hip hop. Most gospel artists today really want to do hip hop with what I hear in gospel music. If you listen to Kirk Franklin's early music, it's nothing but somebody attempting to do hip hop with harmonies in the background. That's all that is. Just harmonies in the background. But he really wanted to do hip hop, and a lot of them really want to do hip hop, but they can't. Now, Tony Touch, I want to call him Tony Out of Damn Touch, defended Fat Joe and his stance on hip hop. I'm going to play this bullshit.
Watch drumming tutorials without Wi-Fi.
Tony Out of Touch, spewing his foolishness about hip hop. He must have lost his damn mind. He must have bumped his head on something.
We talk about the origins like Kool Herc and Grandmaster Flash. These people were from the islands. They're not even from the States. Kool Herc is Jamaican. Grandmaster Flash is from Barbados. So hip hop was started by island people. Puerto Rico.
Now, Grandmaster Flash is a originator when it comes to the DJ. Kool Herc didn't invent anything. When Kool Herc was playing his music in the park, it was a contest to see whose sound system was the loudest. Remember the lyric of KRS-One? You couldn't bring out your set with no hip hop because those pistols would go. And from 76 to 1980, those dreads in Brooklyn was crazy. That was the truth because they thought hip hop was noise. Brothers lining up to grab the mic while the DJ spin. Brothers lined up to rap while the DJ spin. Before it was on record. But these dudes want us to think, they want to poison our children's mind about the origins of hip hop. And Tony Out of Touch is the latest example of that foolishness.
Puerto Rico is an island, and we got blacks in Puerto Rico, just like we got whites. We got different colors in PR. So
yes, and there's racism, white supremacy in Puerto Rico also. Wherever you go, the dark skin of that nationality are considered niggas. And then they come over here, even the dark skin, they come over here and they want to get on any team that they perceive as winning. That's what these Latinos do when they come over here. Even if they're midnight black, they'll say they're not black. Darker than I am, 2 and 3 shades, but they'll say they're not black. But over there, they're treated like niggas. So they leave Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic and Barbados to come over here because they don't want to be niggas no more and come over here and undermine us.
I mean, that's another subject, right? If you want to talk about all the elements of hip hop, a lot of people think it's just rap. It ain't just rap. Hip hop is graffiti, it's DJing, it's MCing, it's breaking. Who dominated the break scene? Come on. Who dominated the DJ scene? That could go, that's argument. That.
No, it's not. Name a DJ better than Cosmic Kev, DJ Scratch, DJ Cheese, Jazzy Jeff, Cosmic Kev. What's the other brother name? Cash Money. These DJs today is nothing compared. You're talking about DJs who just spin records and yell on the mic. They couldn't touch the hem of these brothers I just named. Jam Master Jay. These fools are not DJs. Yelling on the mic and just playing one record after the other and not having no type of showmanship. It's not arguable. Latinos, and as far as their breakdancing, by the time Rocksteady and all those other crews was out there doing breakdancing and pop locking, the moves were old. And if you really want to get technical with who would dominate breaking, which would be in the Olympics soon, you better go far east to the acrobats, the Asians. If you really want to talk about who's going to dominate that.
To be argued, right? But there were Puerto Ricans early on, Disco Wiz, Charlie Chase. These guys are day ones. They're from day one. Rocksteady crew, day one. All Puerto Rican.
This dude must be in his early 40s because Rocksteady crew was not there from day one. Rocksteady crew came in the 80s and hip hop was already established, already a decade and a half in by the time Rocksteady came. And Rocksteady was doing moves that we wasn't doing no more.
You know, crews and artists. So as strong as I no idea is original. We all copied from somebody. If we want to get technical, we talk about hip hop in the Bronx in the early 70s. You know, it's Black and Puerto Ricans there at the same time. Who did what? Who did what more? He did more, whatever. People talk about Herc and Flash, these people from the islands.
One thing I would give to Latinos is that they would tag a train. They would vandalize a goddamn train. They would do that. That's one thing they'll do. They'll vandalize a train. They'll tag a train. But as far as doing what we call hip hop music, they came later and way later.
So, yeah, man.
That sums it up perfectly. And actually, the No Idea is original. That brings me to my next question. You know, like DJ Khaled, he looks like he's set to go #1 with his new album, God Did.
Another man who I've never seen in the back of turntables, but he's calling himself a DJ. DJ Khaled. I've never seen him in back of a set of down turntables, but he's calling himself a DJ.
You know, you're releasing album mixtapes, you know, like early 2000s.
That's right.
How do you feel to see that blue?
And this dude is talking about early 2000s. Do you know how old hip hop was in the year 2000?
You know, become like a dominant force in hip hop these days. You know, you had Busta Rhymes, you had Wu-Tang Clan. How about the Peacemaker the day it came out?
Mm-hmm.
Worked at a grocery store that had in like a Walmart, and so you had all the who's at the business, and you know it wasn't touted as big as it is now.
I think the Black Lives Matter movement had something to do with it in terms of us, you know, and the blacks owning their history. So maybe this fell into that a little bit because so much goes.
He sounds like a total out of touch white man. Tony out of touch. He sounds absolutely stupid. Most hip hop artists don't fuck with no Black Lives Matter.
You know, unspoken about or disregarded, but so much history was made, you know, that goes untalked about by Black people, man. So this somehow maybe leaked from there, I think, a little bit. The first hip hop movie ever made. And who's on stage? You got Rocksteady Crew Breaking, you got Ruby D, you got like all, you know, Charlie Chase. You see Spanish people in the movie. That's the first hip hop movie ever made. So it can't be denied, you know, and, you know, no disrespect to anybody out there.
If 5-0 pulled up the Fat Joe, Tony Touch, and said, "You're under arrest. You didn't do nothing, but you were there. So you're an accessory to murder," they'll cop pleas. Being somewhere doesn't mean that you did it. Just because you were standing around in a party that somebody was doing hip hop, somebody may have been rhyming and you was there, it doesn't mean you did anything. It doesn't mean that you created anything. Only thing you can be is a damn witness because you were there.
But if you're gonna get technical, Kool Herc was Jamaican.
These dudes talk foolish. And we have to gatekeep our genre of music. We can't let someone come around and tell us about our history. It's the same thing that our open and consistent enemy
Hey Mo.
did before. Peace, good brother. How you doing, brother Zone?
What's up, EP, man? How you doing, man?
Good brother. What's the word?
Ain't nothing, man. Checking in with you, you know.
Salute to you, brother.
I don't know what's going on. I hopped on saying you was live and just clicked the link. So I don't know. I ain't even read the topic, to be honest with you.
I was talking about part 2 of the movie The Get Down. Did you see the series The Get Down on Netflix?
Nah, I
You
ain't
should
even.
check it out, brother. Check it out.
All right, I'm gonna check it out.
It's dealing with the origin of hip hop, but they did a lot of switching around. They took the godmother of hip hop and made her an over sexualized pedophile, bro.
Who was the godmother of hip hop?
Sylvia Robinson. She and her husband started Sugar Hill Records. You know, Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Treacherous 3, you know, all the old school hip hop before Tommy Boy started doing records, like, you know, before I even heard of Africa Bambaataa. I haven't heard it. I didn't hear him till like maybe two, to tell the truth.
Okay. Was they from New York?
Well, yeah, they're from New York. They're from New York. Yeah. But Sylvia Robinson, Sugar Hill Records is actually, it was in New Jersey. A lot of the rappers came to New Jersey to record their music. Sylvia Robinson, she's you know, she passed away years ago. I was there, my wife and I, when they named the street after her in Inglewood, New Jersey, where Sugar Hill Records used to be at. We went over there to that ceremony when they named the street after her. And she wrote the song that Jay-Z used, as a matter of fact. The New York with Alicia Keys, she wrote that music.
New York State of Mind?
Yeah, she wrote that music. There was Love on a Two-Way Street. They sampled that. That's where that music came from.
Oh, she sang that song?
She wrote it for the Moments. She wrote that song. She wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people, and then she gravitated towards hip hop, and she put the Sugar Hill Gang together. They didn't even know each other. She put that group together, and they told partial truth on the Get Down. When they used a narrative saying that they didn't want to use the DJ, they actually wanted the band to play the music, because most early hip hop records was played by the band. They had a house band, and the band they didn't have DJs.
Right.
Until they started doing like the sampling and the DJ started displaying their tricks in the music. But before then, it was the band. They played the band, but they made her out of over sexualized pedophile. I don't like the way they portrayed her. And they did a lot of switcheroo stuff. And then if you watch the series on BET called The Origins of Hip Hop, that's the trick bag that they put the battery in the back of Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes, just allowing them to be on that program because they are not origins of hip hop.
Right.
Only two people I could have seen there, and that was Grandmaster Flash and Ice-T.
Right. Yeah, Busta Rhymes ain't even in that category.
He's not in that category.
Right.
Neither is Fat Joe. They had Lil Jon. They had Eve. I'm like, come on. These people came in the 90s.
Yeah.
Origins. Right. They couldn't find no old school hip hop artists to do that program. They shouldn't have done the program.
Why you think that is?
Because they want to hijack our music. They want to take our music.
I'm saying, why you think they couldn't find none of the classic artists?
They probably didn't even seek them. They probably didn't even seek a Grandmaster Melly Mel or a Cat. How could you not have Grandmaster Melly Mel and Grandmaster Caz when they're right in New York? You could have found them. They would have gladly did that.
Yeah, I'm sure you could reach it. I'm sure you could get in touch with them.
As a matter of fact, Grandmaster Caz does a hip hop tour, like showing people around and stuff on tour bus. He does that. They could have found him. They didn't speak him.
Maybe because them older artists know the game. They ain't with all that new age shit, you know. Like how you were saying. So when you say they made her out to be like pedophile, how they do that?
Because it was the guy who played the DJ. She was actually smashing him when he was a teenager.
Wow. You know, that's so crazy that you say that. Have you ever seen the movie American Beauty?
I heard of it. I don't think I ever seen it though.
So it came out in the 90s, right? And I just watched it. Same concept, yo. It's like this older man lusting over this teenage high school girl, his daughter friend. in high school, and it's like, man, they been doing that bullshit.
I mean, that's been in entertainment since since they started labels, since they started doing movies and everything. You know, that casting couch always been around.
The young, right?
I mean, Walt Disney was a pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm certain that what's his name? One of the Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, yeah.
Yeah, they probably was doing that same thing too to children.
That's crazy, man. So do the lady know about it? Like it wasn't no backlash to.
No, she passed away. That's why they doing it. She passed away like 2000. I think it was 2013 or 14. She passed away.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I know what Jones you talking about. You talking about with Tiana Taylor, right?
It's called The Get Down. I don't know I don't know. I know Will Smith's son plays in it. He was one of the MCs in it.
Yeah.
I really don't know anybody. I think they're new actors.
Yeah, pretty much.
They use a bunch of new actors. Nobody's familiar to me in that. But
Right.
It's a good series though. Nas did the lyrics. Nas did a lot of the narrative and the lyrics.
Okay.
He probably got a pretty good bag, which is why he didn't care about going with their narrative. Because
I was gonna ask, what you think about that? What you think about Nas narrating it?
I mean, he got this loop, but me, I would want to be a consultant also to make sure the truth is out.
Right.
Not just get the bag and just go with what they're saying, especially when it deals with them.
So you believe
culture? They hijacked the culture, bro.
Yeah.
And they the Queen of Disco and made her a Latino, Donna Summer. See, I catch stuff. I don't just watch stuff and just look at it for entertainment. No, I read the subliminals, the symbolic stuff, the symbol literacy, all of that. It took her and made her a Latino.
Donna Summers?
Donna Summer. The Queen of Disco. If you're old enough to know, the Queen of Disco was Donna Summer.
I heard about her.
You know who Brooklyn Sedano is?
Nah, I ain't never heard of that.
You ever watch My Wife and Kids?
Yeah.
Junior's the one he had the child from?
Nah.
That's her daughter.
Okay.
The one he had the daughter, the baby from.
Okay.
The Wayans brother's son on that series, that's Donna Summer's daughter.
Oh, that's Donna Summer's daughter?
That's her daughter.
Okay.
On My Wife and Kids. She was the Queen of Disco, and she reigned for a long time until disco died out. She was doing hit from hit from hit from hit. When hip hop came out, it just killed a lot of genres of music. You had to be a real fan to still listen to that stuff after hip hop came out.
Yeah.
Because right now, today, you can't even hardly find music without somebody spitting lyrics on it.
Yeah, no matter what genre it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we have to, stay the course and keep our ear to the streets and what's going on, because you know how when you let certain people in your house, bro, they get sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, a brother said today, and it had me thinking. He said that Busta Rhymes told us to have a damn, to get up out the chair, and he sat Fat Joe in the damn chair. Told us to get up and told Fat Joe to have a seat in the chair.
Yeah.
And it's not ironic and it's not by mistake that the two of them was in that series, The Origins of Hip Hop. That wasn't by mistake.
Nah.
They did it on purpose. we have to gatekeep our genre of music. We have to gatekeep it, and it's going to. They don't know that we're going to be a lot more careful these days.
Hopefully.
And you see what we're doing as far as us as a people now.
Yeah.
We're not allowing anybody around us that calls us, somebody went back and forth with me earlier today saying that, because we don't mourn the death of Queen Elizabeth and Black Europeans do. And he said the color game is over. And I said, you're right, the color game is over. Peace, Jan TV. I said the color game is over because we're not just calling anybody our brothers and sisters these days. Because you look like me, that don't mean you my brother. Because they come over here looking like us and come among us to get what we have. And we got to stop that. You see what they're doing with our genre of music. They want to, say they created it after we created it. Never allow people to just come in your house and make themselves a home unless it's family.
Peace to the panel, man. What's up? What's up?
Peace, good brother. How you doing?
Yeah, I got a notification and shit. I think you was over there on another page. So I think we all subscribe to everybody. So I'm just dropping in to see what's going on. I hear y'all talking about something. So I'm just listening before I make a comment,
Well, we're actually discussing the origins of hip hop and those who are coming along, Johnny come latelys coming along and saying that they helped to create the genre of hip hop. Caribbeans and Latinos saying that, that we don't have culture here. And then all the culture came, they brought it over here. And they talk about bass lines. They had a nerve to talk about bass lines. When all the bass lines, earlier hip hop was mostly James Brown.
You mean the derivation? The derivation of hip hop was coming from soul, old folklore, soul music that was, done by those same people you're mentioning, James Brown, couple more that used to do the same type of Ray Charles. They was on that type of thing, and there was some other ones that they didn't even mention. That was, some real jazz players that actually from the jazz moved on to different genres, in other words.
Indeed. You had Parliament Funkadelic. Redman used a lot of he used some Rick James, he used some Johnny Guitar Watson.
Right.
He used a lot of him. Some people they even use Stevie Wonder, they use Isaac Hayes, they use the JBs, they use so many Americans over here, over here that they use.
Yeah, I would like to say something about that. You do have a lot of people that have Jamaican descent in them that has had something to do with the establishment of the hip hop style, such as you got shit. Busta Rhymes, he's they early. You got Biggie's mom. I think she's Jamaican. Miss Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's quite a few. These are the new age ones, like the Kool Herc. I think he's from Mandeville, Jamaica, some shit like that. And he was one of the ones that actually was a pioneer to like the scratching and the hip hop dressing and shit, So I do think that the Caribbean people do have a lot of impact on music and hip hop music
How
to
old are
me.
you, brother? How old are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm an 80s baby, man. I'm born in 80, man.
Okay.
1980.
Okay, hip hop. When you were born, brother, hip hop was already 20 years in.
So what
See,
year?
Biggie came in '94.
Yeah, I know. So what year was it said to be, started directly?
The first successful hip hop record that sold a lot of money that got critical acclaim was in 1979, a year before you were born, and that was a record that was recorded in New Jersey. Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, I remember that song. Like the hip hop, hip.
Exactly.
Yeah, that one, right? Okay.
Yes, but
So
Cool Herc
Cool Herc.
didn't do Cool Herc used to do the merry-go-round, but Cool Herc, when he was playing music in the parks, it was a contest to see whose sound system was the loudest. It wasn't nothing about hip hop.
Well, yeah, I think because Jamaicans still do that
Today.
sound system clashing type of,
Indeed.
today, yeah, because but I think I mean, as I said, I think it's a mix and a blend also because remember a lot of people were coming there, not just only people of color. You had German motherfuckers that was coming. We're not talking about just for music though, but just people during that time. There was a lot of influx of different people coming into America. Period.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
you're correct. But when it comes to creating a genre of music, a lot of them came later. If you came later and you participated and you contributed to something that's already here, that's not creating anything. You contributed.
Right.
That's different from creating something. See, and being from somewhere does not qualify you. Just because I know straight up squares, cornballs that grew up in the projects. That don't mean he's hood like the rest of us. He just grew up there because his parents couldn't afford to live nowhere else, like us. So being somewhere do not qualify you saying you're from the South Bronx. It's about 2 to 3 million people that live in the Bronx. And it's about 2 to 3 million people who did not help to create hip hop in the Bronx. It's a chosen few. See, they are ride KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions coattail saying South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx. It doesn't mean that you did anything because you're from the South Bronx.
Would you say they helped create a rap?
Who's that?
Zone.
I'm saying who you speaking about?
Like Busta Rhymes, Fat Joe, and all that.
Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe came way later, so how can they help? It's like it's like, how old are you, Brother Zone?
Shit, I'm 26.
You're 26. Okay, you couldn't put my number into yours.
Right now,
I'm 56.
Oh yeah, see, I don't have no clue on the origins of hip hop. A lot of people that you named in the beginning, I ain't even know who they was.
So I was there from the very, very beginning of hip hop before it was on record. You know the first person I heard spit lyrics over a beat? My father. Before it was on records.
Right.
He bought myself and my brother boom boxes, and we said, "Can you make us tapes?" And he sat all day and made us tapes. And this song called "Gots to Be Real" by Cheryl Lynn came on. When the music part without the lyrics dropped, he started rhyming over it. The first person I ever heard spit lyrics over a beat was my pops. And this was before 1979, before Sugar Hill Gang, before all that.
Yeah, well, that's always going to be like that. Like you're always going to have people who are not on record who have done the shit before the shit really came on record. Like who like made an account for it. But here in hip hop, of what I understand is that Kool Herc, Kool Herc was basically doing the DJing basically and doing the scratch and switching up records. He was the first one doing that. So that was the hip hop sound, and that was in 1970. I think it's August 11th, 1973.
He didn't scratch. He didn't scratch. He just actually it's called the merry-go-round. It was like he just kept the break going, take the break part of the beat and just kept it going and extended it. But he never scratched. Like scratching is between it's arguably, people always argued about these two DJs. One was from New Jersey, one was from New York.
Okay.
Grandmaster Grandwizard Theodore, DJ Cheese. Those two, look those two up. DJ Cheese from Plainfield, New Jersey was the first DJ to ever win the World Supremacy Contest of DJing, spinning hip hop style. First one.
You see, the same era that we're talking about from in the 70s coming up into the 90s and shit, it was a very industrial era where each state was looking to be the pioneer of something. So New York was pioneering certain little things such as this entertainment, hip hop and shit. You got California was pioneering the fucking Hollywood and shit. You know what I'm saying? Down south was, I don't know, they was probably doing some other shit during this time. So it's like everybody was trying to be the first to do, this, like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're gonna have these DJs from New Jersey and from different places that's within the proximity of where the simulation is coming from. And then you're gonna have these disputes between these two. But mainly and mostly, growing up and coming up, I mean, you're older than me by like 10 years or so, but like that, I mean, I always heard that it was from the South Bronx, like we was always taught that, you know what I'm saying? And Kool Herc he came with the sound. So anything that was, formidably after him, then we would say that, this is where everything was, the whole image and the whole sound and the whole style started to birth and revamp itself from that beginning right there. So I'll regress though, but as I said, some people who are probably was doing that before Kool Herc, they weren't documented. So that's why we don't know them to this magnitude. You get what I mean? So that's what's up.
Grandmaster Flowers is no longer around. They had a Grandmaster Flowers that predated him. He's no longer around. He's no longer with us. And it's DJs before that, again, and he didn't even play. And Kool Herc will tell you, I'm the godfather. I didn't create anything. I'm the latest. I was the latest exponent of that time. He said, but I didn't create anything. It was already created. I just started doing it. People got so used to seeing Herc, because they was doing their thing. They had like 4 different crews in the borough. You had Grandmaster Flash, you had Grandmaster Flowers, you had Kool Herc in the Herculoids, you had Africa Bambaataa in his crew. You had 4 different people in one borough. And then you can't forget Brooklyn and Queens. They was doing it too. They was doing it too. Because they was doing it across the bridge in Jersey too.
Well, yeah, because in the early 70s, like block parties was prevalent between like the black communities and like the Caribbean Americans and shit, and people that came from like Mexico, and that shit was back in those days. That was a thing. And then doing that scratch, it was new to people, like not scratch, but like switching up the records and keeping the record on beat. That's what he was doing. Yeah, he was switching it up and keeping it on beat, and it was like, oh, that shit is, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I ain't never heard it. Yeah. Indeed. So it created a new type of sound for parties, basically. It wasn't really an industry like that, like niggas jumping on the mic and, they was just saying, oh, what's up? It was just phrases back then.
See, a lot of people see the DJ used to be out front.
Yeah.
DJ
The
was
DJ
out front.
was more of a DJ, and then if you look in the Jamaican community, that's what the DJs really do when they on their spin tables or whatever. They be on the mic saying some shit all the time, but it might be just a 2-word rhyme, like, you know, let's get the ceiling up and, you know, shut up, or, you know what I mean? I don't know, but I'm just saying it's never been a rhyme. Some people started coming to the party and started, you know, be like, oh shit, I could get on the mic like the DJ, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. They used to line up. They used to line up and, you know, and get their turn to rhyme. The DJ spinning the record and MC.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
If they thought they had it, they lined up and get their chance. If they was whack, the DJ turned the sound off on them. Told them to beat it.
Yeah.
We used to have a ball with block parties back in the day. A ball. I mean, the DJ would probably come like 3 o'clock. Where I'm from, he'd play probably like from 3 o'clock all the way to 1 in the morning during the summer. Every summer.
Right.
And we used to have a ball in the block parties where I'm from. And then when Rapper's Delight dropped, well, the first hip hop record I heard was a dude named B Fats, but it didn't really go.
Right. See,
it didn't go that far. It dropped, but it didn't really go that far.
That's that underground. See, underground and everything has always came out first before mainstream. A motherfucker who came mainstream was just, you know what I mean, getting it from the nigga from underground who was doing it in the hood already. But we just don't know who actually really, you know, it's just who we were able to record and report and say that this is it. But where do they get it from? They get it from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It derived from somewhere else.
I mean, we did it in parties. We used to rap in the parties, but it wasn't. I didn't think it would take off like it did. You can hardly hear music today without hip hop influences in it or rap in it. I don't care what genre of music you listen to, you can barely hear it without hip hop in it. But back when it first started, the first hip hop record I heard, my pops bought it. He bought Rapper's Delight and brought it home.
Right.
And from then, he was buying hip hop records. He bought Freedom, Grandmaster Flash, he bought that. He bought the Fearless 4. He went and bought this because, you know, he was a young man at the time.
Right.
And he bought these albums.
Because, see, that time in those block parties is very influential, like the dressing, the hairdos, the big earrings and shit. All that shit was coming out, you know, with the whole party image and shit. Yo, these elites have gotten everything from us because we threw a big party for free and they saw a way that they could make money. Like, it was like, wow, these guys could go on the microphone and they got the whole party just listening to them, you know, say a few words with rhymes. Hold up. We're going to create an industry off of this.
You are absolutely right, bro. You correct with that.
That's exactly what went down.
And then when corporate America got involved, when really corporate people and these big wigs got involved, that's when it really took off because Sugar Hill Records was all right, but it wasn't like a Tommy Boy, a Def Jam, all these big major labels that hip hop artists is on now. It's not like theirs was because it wasn't none of those type of deals that was going down when Grandmaster Flash was doing it.
Right. Because at that time, you know, they didn't recognize that this, as you said, this music wasn't gonna take off. They just thought it was a bunch of niggas just, you know, saying some, you know, nursery rhymes type of shit. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, you know.
Like was saying,
it was very simple. Like how you see, you know, these bars, people spitting bars with metaphors and all of that. Now, it wasn't like that. So nobody thought hip hop would do anything like that until the corporate, you know, America saw it. It was like, hold up, how is this one person in the middle of this crowd of 700 people at a party, a block party, just holding the crowd like this? We could make money. And then when they got all together, they were able to say, okay, we're not just gonna make you do music and put you on the radio. We're gonna do videos too, so people can see you. You know, and then this is when Hollywood started getting involved in the videos, and you know, shit just went sideways, bro.
And you know how long it took for any hip hop artist to get their music and their videos played on like a MTV? We only had Ralph McDaniels. I don't know where you're from, brother, but the only thing we had was Ralph McDaniels Video Music Box. That's who we had. If you wasn't watching Video Music Box in the 80s, you didn't see hip hop videos.
Yeah, because there was no, I don't think there was no BET and shit.
There was no BET yet, and MTV wouldn't play it.
Yeah, MTV came later with Yo MTV Raps when they realized.
That's when they started playing hip hop. When Yo MTV Raps came, as far as the regular MTV, they wouldn't play no hip hop, and I only heard hip hop Friday nights on the radio. They wouldn't even play it on the radio. Only on Friday nights, either it was 98.7 KISS or it was WBLS, both in New York. It was Mr. Magic at WBLS, and it was Chuck Chill Out and DJ Red Alert on 98.7.
See,
they were rival crews too.
Right. See, I grew up in Mount Vernon, so I was very close to the Bronx in the 80s and shit. So I knew
money earning Mount Vernon.
Yeah, like I was with the Heavy D era and shit. I was with them and the boys and shit. You know, Heavy D was a Jamaican too. He used to do,
I met Heavy D back in '86. I met him in '86.
Right. That was his era right there, like from the 80s and shit. So yeah, them boys was doing their thing. And as I said, like no one knew, because it just looked so simple of a person throwing a party, and then the party got so big, and then certain little infiltrators came in and saw it. It was like, how can black people do this? They can do a lot. They figured out a lot off of us, yo.
Yeah, you're right. You can't argue that point. They looked and they seen us doing this new art form that they didn't understand, and the first thing they saw was, okay, we can get some money for this.
So Kool Herc was probably just the inventor of the new way of switching music from, you know, one turntable to the next without, you know, skipping the beat and fucking the people up while they're on the dance floor. And then, you know what I'm saying? He was also, remember the sound classes that's done in Jamaica, they're used to, you know, talking shit on the mic. So that's how like niggas spitting against niggas came. Because
not necessarily, because if you can go to the Jubilaries in the 1930s, bro. The Jubilaries are spitting rhymes. Do you know what Bones, Thugs, and Harmony do today? The Jubilaries are doing that in the 30s.
Who is the Jubilaries? I've never heard of that term.
Look, they are good 50, 60 years older than I am. They was rapping. When you get a chance, look at the Jubilaries. They was rapping. They was holding guns in their videos. Way back then. And they had money signs on their clothes and stuff. The Jubilaries. They was rapping, and the dude had bars. This was in the 30s, in the 40s, in the 50s. They was rapping. You got H-Rap Brown. He was rapping. So that part of hip hop came, I mean, and guess what? These dudes wasn't Northerners. They was from down south somewhere. Get a chance, look at the Jubilaries. Brother Zone. You got knocked off, brother?
Yeah, my internet was that shit fucking around, but it's good. Shit good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they was
you was
rapping.
telling me something. You was telling me something a while ago. I was trying to get the name and shit.
Yeah, the Jubilaries, they were rapping in the 30s and 40s. And they was harmonizing and they were doing they was rapping. They had guns in their videos and everything.
Oh, I see this thing running across says hip hop was created by black people in America exclusively. Latinos and Jamaicans had absolutely no part.
I'm gonna play some. I found the Jubilaries. I'm gonna play some of this stuff. It's not the regular hip hop, but these dudes was rapping.
It's over and over. Oh, I know. I know I'm so right on the winning time, but it's over and over. Oh, I know. I know I'm so right on the winning but I know I got something right on the winning. Said it would ride on a wind and time. Hey, children, stop, steal, and listen to me. God walked down to the land to sea. He declared that the eve of the son of man, and then he decided to destroy the land. He spoke to Noah, and Noah stopped. He said, Noah, I want you to build me an ark. I want you to build it 3 cubits long. I want you to build it big and strong. I want it 20 high and 50 wide, so it will stand the wind and tide. Is over and over.
Now that's 1946.
I want to say something about that. All right. First, 2 things I want to comment on. The title that you got here, I think I kind of agree, but I kind of agree, but I think I disagree a little because of we're not going to put Fat Joe is new, yo. He's very new. Even you got KRS-One and Heavy D is even they older than them niggas right there. So if even if you even were gonna cut out the Latinos and say the Jamaicans helped because Kool Herc was a Jamaican, definitely. And then you have people who had, got to the mainstream before, I'm not saying the people that weren't mainstream that was doing hip hop before these cats, they weren't doing it. But if we're talking about an account of when they started to record who actually had something to do with pushing the hip hop image, then I would exclude the Latinos and I would keep the Jamaicans. That's just my argument. I'm not gonna,
Brother, you have a right to that, bro. I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna go back and forth. You have a right to that. That's just
no. That's just according to what I saw.
Your sentiment.
Right. Yeah. According to what we've known and what we saw, and what we've heard, and what we've been taught of hip hop history, that's what I would say because because the Latinos came in at a later time. Like
I mean, KRS-One came later too. So did KRS-One came in like what 80, 85, 86, and it was already, it was already a big.
It was already established already during that time. Like by 82, 83, when I was just a little young pup and I didn't even know about music, that shit had to be already established.
It was
because a man was doing the shit from 73, like in the 70s. So they had a whole, more than a little more than a half of a decade to be able to perfect what they was doing before 80 something when these guys started coming out. As I said, if you look at it, Kool Herc was just on the mic, and this is where anybody who
got on the mic, Kool Herc never got on the mic. Never.
Right. He never got on the mic?
He never got on the mic. Kool Herc was behind the turntables. He never got on the mic.
Wow.
He spent music. Kool Herc used to customize his speakers. And they used to have contests of whose sound system was the loudest. And he used to blow people out with his systems. He used to make, okay, your speaker's that big. Next week, watch what I make. He'll come out with the biggest speakers. And I think he got jacked for his designs too. I'm gonna be real with you. I think they stole some of his ideas on how to customize speakers.
Well, all right. I'm gonna say this now because of the fact that I know his origin as a Jamaican, and if he was doing this right here before he came to America, as far as doing spinning records and shit and doing clashes, they had to.
He was raised. He
go
was born there. He was raised. That's his origin. That's his nationality. But he was raised in America. He ain't come from America. He was raised here.
Well, then we have to figure out who started to go on the microphone to be able to, start rapping to the beats.
Be fat. It the first joint that people used to line up, but for a record, be fats.
Okay.
And then later on, the more successful record was the Sugar Hill Gang. Then Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Then Treacherous 3 and the Disco 4, the Fearless 4. I mean, they had quite a few crews before Sugar Hill was really established. It was a record label called Enjoy, and a lot of the hip hop artists before they got those bigger deals, they was on a record label called Enjoy. And then they was on Sugar Hill Records because you could see some of the same records on Sugar Hill on Enjoy also. And then you had what's his brother now? It's another brother who used to rhyme. He did a song called Rap Dirty. I think his name is Blowfly. He's a comedian, but he used to rhyme. His name is Blowfly. Because my parents used to listen to them. You know how your parents listen to their comedian records. You in the back room, you listen and cracking up. I used to listen to Blowfly. When my parents had company, they'll play Blowfly, and he used to rhyme. But it was like explicit.
What's this guy's name again? B Fats?
B Fats.
How you spell that?
The letter B and Fats.
Okay, all right, cool. That's what I thought. Just want to confirm the shit.
Yeah, but that I just played you, that was 1946.
Yeah, but all right, you see, all right, this is the next comment about, because that first one was about the title. The next thing about the music you just played, I would not associate that with like hip hop, because
no, it's not. It's rapping, but it's not hip hop.
Yeah, because you see, rapping is just basically talking over a beat, but then you could rap to a rhythm form. Like you could be instead of just saying it straight like, yo, my name is Joe blah da 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 da. You could be like na 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 na. You know what I mean? You could come with a rhythm of how you say the shit. And that, I don't believe would be,
But that's the way it was when they first started doing it. If you listen to the early hip hop, the cadence was real simple. It wasn't like it is now, all these different cadence. Now, when G-Rap and Rakim came, they made people step their games up because they had these double bars. You know what I'm saying? They had double and triple bars. They was rhyming inside the rhyme. Every other word rhymed with the first word. Back when hip hop first began, people were just rhyming at the end of the sentence. It's different. Rhyming at the end of the sentence is easy, but they brought a new style in that you rhyme inside the rhyme, inside the rhyme, inside the rhyme, all the way through, which is a lot complicated from how they used to do it. See, back then, like when I just played for you, that's a simple cadence.
Yeah, that's the simple rhyme form, and he's using a rhythm while he's doing it. He's doing a rhythm with on the beat, basically with his.
That's
with
how
his
they did it back then when it first started. That's how they did it back then. They didn't do this. How they doing it today? If you listen to the older hip hop, simple cadence.
Yeah, because they didn't used to use a beat. They used to do the shit a cappella. So in order to keep the crowd, you have to have a little rhythm with the way you're saying what you're saying. It was just poetry.
That's basically what it is today. Those of us who are really good at it, some people just, should never get to it. But
It's just poetry, and you're able to put. Because what happened is that it got more complex. Because when the beats came out, you was like, oh, you read the beat in the 4-bar interval. You say, okay, I could say this much amount of words within those 4 little bars real quick.
Right.
Rhymes, and this is where the birth of hip hop really came. When people started to actually say, yo, instead of just talking over it and saying, put your hands in the air, shake it like you just don't care. Every two, you know what I mean? Niggas started actually telling stories now, like Slick Ricks, and these people start putting these type of things on the wax because it started becoming something that people are listening instead of just being at the party now and throwing our hands up and pumping up our hands and having a good time dancing. Now I'm showing you that I got skills by being able to put these words on the beat, plus that shit rhyme, plus it makes sense, and I'm telling the story. Like, damn.
Indeed.
Like, people gotta look at it like, oh shit, that's super to be able to do.
And then if you, especially a lot of those guys who don't write, who's able to go out there and spit it like that, because a lot of those guys were freestyling. Wasn't even writing.
You have to be smart to freestyle, yo. You gotta, cause you have to know shit, and you have to know how to, put it together so it makes sense. Like the metaphors now, because that's the way it's done. It's not simple anymore. But these guys just came with this. You know what's crazy? This mumble rap shit. I don't like it.
They can keep that. I mean, I want to know what you're saying. You can keep the mumble rap. You can keep
that. I need to know what you're saying, bro. Cause that shit right there. I don't know. That shit is it's popular as fuck. Like this is what they do, dumbing down the whole culture.
When I'm sure if it wasn't accepted and if it wasn't pushed and people wasn't force fed this type of hip hop, they wouldn't even make it. They wouldn't make that type of hip hop. Back in the day, you had to be good, or the record label would straight up turn you down. Now they don't want originality. Back in the day, it had to be originality. You couldn't sound like nobody else. Now they want everybody to sound the same. Hip hop changed. You went into a record label sounding like anybody else, you didn't get a deal.
Yeah,
now, originality.
I think that's because now Hollywood is involved because they realize that we could create an image with this little dumb kid that has no money from the ghetto. We'll create an image and, we'll let him do his videos like this. Look at these niggas doing videos with skirts on and devils and winding up on devils and shit. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but they, that is the, sometimes you sell your soul when you make a sacrifice. Sometimes the humiliation or the feminization of the artist is them sacrificing themselves. It ain't always somebody being sacrificed with a human blood sacrifice. Sometimes it's humiliation. Sometimes you got to wear a skirt and be effeminate. And sometimes you got to go all the way and just do the whole entire homosexual thing. Gay for pay. Sometimes you got to go back. It's a casting couch for music also, not just in movies and acting and all types of entertainment. It's even in sports. It's even in sports.
Yeah. Sports is fake. I got a video about the sports. That shit is fake. All of that shit is rigged. I'm not denouncing the skills of the athletes, but the whole system is rigged to a point where you can't really even trust it anymore.
It's about money.
Especially when it is monetized. So any system that has been monetized, it's a scam. School is monetized. That's a scam.
It's all about the money. They took pages out of WWF, the fake wrestling.
Oh man.
They took pages out of their script and they put it in all the sports.
Yeah, because that was the first one
the,
that was
exactly. They're gonna determine who the winner is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they do, and that's what they're doing.
Look, everything that falls under the entertainment sector, even hip hop, now, maybe back in the days we were really, they was really, as you said, we was really, purporting our energy in it and trying to show our skills and shit. Now it's not like that because the industry has infiltrated this industry so that they could just basically do what they want now and still call it hip hop, and it's not. Like listen to the beats, it's all different. Like, you know what I mean? Mad shit changed, yo. It's
lower energy shit, and
they're lowering the vibration of our minds right now and trying to keep us in that matrix, bro.
And then turn it into a death culture because whenever a brother get killed, like the young brother did over in California yesterday, I think it was PNB Rock. The young brother, peace and blessings to him, condolences to his family.
Oh yeah.
And, the young brother was murdered because of where he was at, and then you got people saying, "Why was he there?" Why would you ask a young brother why was he among his own damn people? That makes no sense to me. The young man should have been able to go anywhere he wanted to go among his people, and then for him to be robbed and murdered while he was out eating. That's crazy to me. But you don't ask I guarantee you, I mean, I don't advocate robbing and murdering nobody. But why we have to do that to each other? That's my question. Why do we have to do it to each other?
Yeah, because it's just like everybody has a motive whenever they're basically threatened of losing certain statuses. So it depends on who was the person that's dealing with the assault. It could be a motherfucker that was getting ready to get some time or whatever, or he had to do this hit for a ritual or some shit. Yo, this world is crazy, bro.
And you know what? That's a trigger right there, brother, because it makes me think because being that what label the brother was on, it makes me think that insurance policies are put out on these artists and then they are offed.
Oh yeah. Look, the shit has been like that, as I told you, and as I'm saying again, once any system has been monetized, because remember, back in the days, we used to just be in the hood spitting in a cipher and ain't nobody there. Like if a nigga want to throw a couple dollars on the floor for us doing our thing, that's what it was. Like, you know what I mean?
Indeed.
But now the system has been monetized and mainstream, and everything in the mainstream is a false reality, appearing real. False evidence appearing real, like fear. That's what it is. So basically, yeah, that's it.
Yes, sir. Indeed, I feel you, brother. That's some real talk right there. But we have to do better by each other and root for each other. We got to root for each other when we're doing good.
Yeah, you have those who can be easily tricked by the glamour and the glitz because look, a lot of us don't know how to survive without certain things. Even though we probably grew up without the shit. Like, for instance, a lot of people don't know how to manage money because, they never really even had it to manage. So,
fooling his money.
Yeah, this is what they dangle over your, you know what I mean? The puppets dangle this shit over your face, and you just got to conform and do what they say if you subscribe to their system. And if you do, they're gonna make sure they do some shit like what they do to Bill Cosby's and the R. Kellys. They fuck you up, make sure they have some shit on you so that if you go left, oh, we about to expose your shit and lock you up for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
So it's a 360 deal. It's a trap. You
Yeah.
can't make no deals with these people because what's going to take place is that you're going to lose no matter what.
Fact. They do the dirt with you to get the dirt on you.
Exactly. They make sure they send somebody who's a fucking pedophile or some other shit that you don't even know. You know what I mean? And they doing shit around you, and they got another motherfucker over there calling the paparazzi. That's what they call them. Some other motherfuckers who was paid to do this shit. It ain't no paparazzi.
And then
This
they add,
motherfucker was paid to follow you.
they add
And he
the
was paid
elements.
to take it. Go ahead.
They add those elements to drugs. They add the liquor. They add all the elements, and then you're not cool if you don't engage in those things.
Exactly.
And the other thing is over. And what the decision is ultimately yours.
Yep.
Regardless of what the decision is yours, you can tell them to go to hell. I'm not doing no drugs. I'm not doing no lines with nobody. I'm not sniffing no dope. I'm not putting a needle in my arm, and I don't drink. Just let them know. I don't do none of this. So I don't know what your motives is to get me out my mind, because when anybody I don't like when people that come offer me. You got people always want to offer you something that's a mind-altering substance. Let's go out for drinks. Let's do this. Let's do that. What makes you think that I drink and I want to be off away from my family, out my mind?
Yep. That's because they want you to forget. Look, listen to the word entertainment. It's the enter-attainted mentality where reality isn't real.
Exactly. Land of
Yo, I'm gonna be right back. I'm listening though. I gotta step outside real quick, but I got the earphones on, so I'm gonna come back in on the video in a little while. So just go ahead and do your talking and shit. Look like it's only me and you on here, bro.
I'm about to end the broadcast, brother. You know what I'm saying? I thank you for coming through, brother. I thank the brother Zone for coming through. I appreciate you. It was a nice build, brother. You know,
definitely. Do it again.
Wherever I'm on, brother, come through.
Okay, no problem, man. No problem, man. Good. Thanks for the panel. Peace. It was a good build, and I think we should do it again, bro. Trust me.
We should. Peace, brother.
Peace.
Peace to my brother Bronze Flat Power God. Peace to Prophet Levi. Peace to God Body. Peace to Chris Cyphers. Peace to Shan TV. Peace to who else is here? Who else is here? Peace of Dome Trees. And salute to everybody. This is the Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.